The story of air power is the story of speed, courage, and invention. In the early days of flight, propellers ruled the sky. But by the 1940s, engineers around the world dreamed of something faster, an engine that could break the limits of propeller blades and send aircraft into a new dimension of speed. That dream gave birth to the jet age, an age that would forever change air warfare and the history of the Air Force. As World War II raged across Europe, scientists in Germany, Britain, and the United States were secretly testing a new kind of power. Instead of turning a propeller, the jet engine expelled hot gases to create thrust. It was a simple idea, but revolutionary. On August 27, 1939, Germany's Heinkel Hi-178 became the first jet aircraft to take to the skies. Its short flight lasted less than 10 minutes, but in that moment, the world entered a new era. Germany quickly advanced its design, creating the Messerschmitt Me-262, the first operational jet fighter. With a top speed near 900 kilometers per hour, it was untouchable by Allied propeller planes. Pilots who faced it described it as a silver arrow, blindingly fast, almost impossible to catch. But the Me-262 arrived too late. Shortages of fuel, inexperienced pilots, and the crumbling German war machine kept it from turning the tide. Still, its legacy was clear. The future of combat flight belonged to jets. Across the Channel, the British were also racing toward that future. A brilliant engineer named Frank Whittle had been experimenting with jet engines since the early 1930s. By 1943, Britain's first jet fighter, the Gloucester Meteor, was ready. It entered service to defend the homeland from German V-1 rockets and became the only Allied jet to fly combat missions before the war ended. The Meteor proved that jet technology was not a German secret. It was a global revolution. When the war ended, nations around the world poured their resources into jet development. The Second World War had shown that whoever controlled the skies could control the battlefield. In this new Cold War era, air superiority became the ultimate weapon. The Korean War, fought just a few years later, became the stage for the world's first jet-versus-jet battles. The American F-86 Sabre faced the Soviet MiG-15 in high-speed dogfights above the mountains of Korea. These duels pushed pilots to their limits, with speeds so high that a single mistake could mean instant disaster. The jet fighter had come of age. By the 1960s, aviation technology was accelerating faster than ever. Engineers broke the sound barrier and entered the world of supersonic flight. Aircraft like the F-104 Starfighter and MiG-21 could climb higher and fly faster than anything before. New radar systems and guided missiles changed how air battles were fought. It was no longer about turning fights in tight circles. It was about who could see first, lock first, and fire first. During the Vietnam War, the skies filled with the roar of the F-4 Phantom II. It carried advanced radar, heat-seeking missiles, and heavy bombs. But pilots soon learned that technology alone could not replace skill. Close-range dogfights returned, and the need for maneuverability brought new designs like the F-14 Tomcat, F-15 Eagle, and the light but lethal F-16 Fighting Falcon. These jets combined speed, agility, and computer-assisted targeting. They were masterpieces of engineering, icons of air dominance in the 1980s. The Soviet Union responded with its own legends, the MiG-29 Fulcrum and the Su-27 Flanker. They were fast, powerful, and able to perform impossible maneuvers. For decades, these aircraft defined the balance of power in the Cold War sky. Every advancement in one country triggered innovation in another. Jet fighters became symbols not just of defense, but of national pride and technological superiority. Then came a quiet revolution, stealth. Instead of being faster, the next generation aimed to be invisible. The F-117 Nighthawk, introduced in the 1980s, used sharp angles and radar-absorbent materials to slip unseen through enemy defenses. During the Gulf War in 1991, it struck high-value targets deep inside Iraq without ever being detected. Soon after, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber took stealth to the next level, flying thousands of kilometers and returning home unseen. For the first time in history, aircraft could dominate the battlefield without ever being seen on radar. As the new millennium began, the fifth generation of fighters arrived. These jets were not just aircraft, they were flying computers. The F-22 Raptor became the ultimate air superiority fighter, combining stealth, speed, and agility into one lethal package. It could see its enemies before they even knew it was there. Then came the F-35 Lightning II, a multi-role stealth jet designed to replace several older aircraft at once. It connected pilots, sensors, and satellites in real time, turning the battlefield into a single network. Air warfare had entered the digital age. Today, the sky belongs to intelligence as much as to courage. Modern jets think, analyze, and react faster than humans. Artificial intelligence helps pilots make split-second decisions. Unmanned drones now join the fight, flying missions too dangerous for human pilots. They scout, strike, and protect. The line between manned and unmanned flight grows thinner with every passing year, and the future? It's already being built. Sixth-generation fighters like the U.S. Next Generation Air Dominance Project and Europe's Tempest program are designed to fly alongside autonomous drones. These jets will combine stealth, hypersonic speed, and artificial intelligence, rewriting the very definition of air combat. They may not even need a human pilot at all. From the Heinkel He-178's humble takeoff to the sleek stealth fighters of today, the evolution of Air Force jets has been a story of relentless progress. Each generation carried the dreams of the engineers, the bravery of the pilots, and the power of the nations behind them. Every bolt, every wing, and every engine tells a part of the human desire to reach higher and faster. And as technology races forward, one truth remains: the sky is not the limit. It's just the beginning. The story of the jet age begins not with a roar, but with a dream. A dream to go faster, higher, and farther than any propeller could ever take us. Before the 1940s, the skies were ruled by piston engines and spinning blades. Air combat was fierce but limited. Pilots could push their aircraft to the edge of speed, yet physics would not let them go beyond. Propellers simply couldn't slice through the air fast enough. But somewhere in secret laboratories and cluttered workshops, a new force was being born: the jet engine. As World War II spread across the globe, the race for air superiority became a matter of survival. In Britain, a young engineer named Frank Whittle had been obsessed with one idea since his teenage years: to create a turbine engine that could compress air, mix it with fuel, and blast it out the back to produce pure thrust. Across the enemy lines in Germany, Hans von Ohain was working on the same principle. Neither man knew the other, yet both were building the future of flight. In August 1939, as Europe stood on the brink of war, the Heinkel He-178 lifted off for the first time, the world's first jet-powered aircraft. It stayed in the air for just a few minutes, but that flight changed everything. No longer would airspeed be limited by propeller blades. Humanity had unlocked the power of pure jet propulsion. When the war erupted, the skies became battlefields of innovation. Germany invested heavily in jet technology, hoping to create a weapon so advanced it could turn the tide of the war. Their answer was the Messerschmitt Me-262, the first operational jet fighter in history. Sleek, deadly, and twice as fast as any Allied aircraft, it struck fear into bomber crews and fighter pilots alike. Those who saw it in flight described it as something almost alien, a streak of silver that appeared, attacked, and vanished. But despite its superiority, the Me-262 came too late. Germany's factories were bombed, its resources dwindling. There wasn't enough fuel nor enough trained pilots. For every Me-262 that took off, dozens of Allied planes dominated the skies. Still, the message was clear: the future of air warfare would belong to jets. Meanwhile, Britain was not standing still. Frank Whittle's early engine designs led to the Gloucester E-2839 and then to the Gloucester Meteor, the first Allied jet fighter. Though it entered combat too late to duel German jets, the Meteor was used to intercept deadly V-1 flying bombs, cutting them from the sky with its blazing speed. The Allies had proven they could match Germany's innovation and soon surpass it. By the war's end in 1945, both sides had glimpsed the next era of flight. Propeller-driven fighters like the Spitfire and Mustang had achieved perfection. But perfection wasn't enough anymore. Jet engines promised not just faster planes, but entirely new tactics, new altitudes, and new possibilities. The sound of propellers was fading. The whistle of the jet turbine was the sound of the future. When peace returned,